Now at 6:30, tariff flip-flop.
The only thing certain on these 30 days is uncertainty.
The White House announces it is holding off on tariffs on Canada and Mexico, just days after going into effect. The latest from Washington and what's next.
Plus, millions of Americans are digging out tonight after severe winter storms. This as a new system is making its way across the country.
And in sports, Ohio hockey looks ahead to the ACHA National Championship starting next week. We sit down with the team's head coach live in studio with more on how the team is preparing. Newswatch starts right now.
Thanks for joining us tonight. I'm Haley Hollinger.
And I'm Jack Green. You know, Haley, we said it last week. Ohio weather is Ohio weather, and this week sure did prove it. Our forecaster, Emily Case, is here in the Weather Center. Emily, what is going on outside? It's cold now. What's going on?
Yeah, no, it definitely was cold. It was warmer at the beginning of this week, and then we saw a significant low pressure system as well as a cold front come through our region last evening, helping to cool those temperatures down quite dramatically. They really did cool down. We're sitting right now at 38 degrees. We have pretty gusty winds up to 18 miles per hour. That wind really cooling that real field temperature down to around 32. So don't let it fool you. It is cold outside and quite a difference compared to yesterday. Now, Ohio, not much happening in the weather front. We have pretty significant low pressure systems to the east of us as well to the west, but nothing to be concerned of tonight. Again, temperatures though over the past 24 hours, we were on the warmer side and then we started to cool back down, and because of that cold front that came through, and that will continue into tonight with 28 for that overnight low in partly cloudy skies. Those clouds continuing into tomorrow with 30% chance of showers, most of those showers occurring after 5 p.m. So it should be pretty sunny for most of the day tomorrow.
Thanks, Emily. President Donald Trump announced a 1-month suspension of tariffs on most Mexican and Canadian imports.
This comes 2 days after the administration imposed blanket 25% tariffs on Canada and Mexico and doubled tariffs on imports from China. Ivan Rodriguez has more.
Whiplash in Washington. After implementing sweeping new tariffs Tuesday, President Donald Trump is hitting pause, announcing the 25% tariff on most products from Mexico will now be delayed. Ontario Premier Doug Ford lambasting the administration over the economic tit-for-tat.
What a mess President Trump has created here. The only thing certain on these 30 days is uncertainty.
It's a significant development on the president's signature economic plan, which economists warned would raise prices for American consumers.
We import a lot of our fruit and vegetables from Canada and Mexico. That next trip to the supermarket is going to be a whole lot more uncomfortable.
The cost of producing cars, too, throughout North America could jump anywhere from $3,500 to $12,000, according to an analysis from the Anderson Economic Group. For some in the auto industry, the pause brings a momentary sigh of relief.
The administration's goals are admirable. We can't turn them on a dime and build a $4 billion facility, assembly plant in the United States in a couple of weeks.
Still, the new 20% tariff on Chinese imports remains in place, and the uncertainty over a trade war brewing on both borders brings fear that the American economic engine could stall.
What you're also seeing then is very sharp declines in consumer and business confidence. That in itself would cause economic harm.
In Atlanta, I'm Ivan Rodriguez.
Sources say White House officials are preparing an executive order directing the Education Secretary to dismantle the Department of Education.
The department has faced growing calls from Republicans who want to do away with it. Julia Benbrook has the latest from the White House.
People familiar with the matter say that President Donald Trump is preparing to sign an executive order to dismantle the Department of Education. He has long signaled his intention to get rid of the department, and this is all a part of his broad effort to shrink the size of the federal government. The administration has been drafting an order to launch the process. It directs the newly confirmed Education Secretary, Linda McMahon, to, quote, take all necessary steps to facilitate the closure of the Education Department. McMahon was sworn in on Monday, and just a few hours later, she sent a letter to her staff titled Our Department's Final Mission, referencing the overall efforts to dismantle the department she now leads. Here's what Trump said last month about her role.
I told Linda, I hope you do a great job and put yourself out of a job. I want her to put herself out of a job. And I want the states to run schools, and I want Linda to put herself out of a job.
Eliminating the Department of Education would require Congress to act, so Trump is pushing lawmakers on the Hill to pass legislation. While calls to abolish the Education Department or merge it with another federal agency are not new, the move has historically failed to get support from Congress. If Trump succeeds in shuttering the department, it's possible that some programs and funding could be retained and shifted to other agencies. At the White House, I'm Julia Benbrook.
We are learning new details tonight about why Ohio University's Black Alumni Reunion has been placed on hold.
The co-chair of the planning committee says the very fact of hosting an event for Black alumni worries university officials. The reunion was scheduled to take place in April, but was canceled as officials addressed new federal and state legislation targeting diversity, equity, and inclusion programs. The idea of hosting the event off campus was thrown out, but organizers say that isn't a viable option.
WOUB is your source for news in Southeast Ohio. For the latest news across the region, head to our website, woub.org, or download the WOUB app.
States across the country are banning cell phones in schools, including Alexander High School here in Athens County. The bans are set to address mental health concerns and encourage learning, but others worry about the ability for students to communicate with parents in emergency situations. Michael Yoshida has more.
Good morning, everybody. A high school in Arlington, Virginia, trying a new way to keep phones out of the classroom. Pouches and IDs, everybody. Good morning. At the start of each day, and have out your pouches and IDs. Students now required to put their mobile devices in a magnet-locked pouch.
The smartphone was really a game changer.
With rising digital distractions posing problems in the classroom.
I was phone police every day.
Every 5 minutes, I would say, put your phone away, phones up, phones away. Yeah, it was a problem.
The pouches at Wakefield High are part of a pilot program as the school figures out the best way to follow a district and statewide ban on cell phones in schools. Across the country, 7 other states have passed similar policies, and 15 states, along with the District of Columbia, have introduced legislation for restrictions.
These types of bans have seen reductions in fights and improvements in mental health and student outcomes.
Still, a common concern is removing students' ability to reach their parents or call for help in an emergency. D.C. Council member Brooke Pinto says her bill, like others, has educational and health exceptions and allows other ways for parents and students to contact each other. But she adds,
in an emergency situation, the last thing we want our kids doing is looking down on their devices. We want them paying attention to the adult in the room, whether that's their teacher or their principal.
You open it up right here.
Despite some growing pains at Wakefield High,
my first thought was how I was going to get around it.
It was just crazy and hectic. Everybody was banging their phones, trying to open it.
There are also noticeable benefits.
It's not as bad as I thought. I think now with less distractions, I can kind of go more in depth on my work, more focused without any distractions.
But now, I force myself to listen.
Some, as teens will do, try to skirt the rules.
You know, pouching either fake phones or old phones or something with that same similar shape. But one of the benefits we're seeing is that they're still keeping their phones away during the day.
But it turns out, life without the world at your fingertips can still bring you someplace new.
I would say we're more talkative now. Like when we see each other, we can talk now because we don't have phones.
Now you actually have to go.
Yeah, now you actually got to go find a person and tell it to them in their face.
In Washington, I'm Michael Yoshida reporting.
The director of the Athens County Board of Elections is taking on a new role, this time as deputy director. After almost 20 years in the position, Debbie Quavey says it's time for her to step aside. Quavey has worked at the office since 1992 and became director in 2006. Quavey says she has enjoyed every minute working at the office, even in the hard times. Deputy Director Tony Brooks II was sworn in to replace Quavey. Brooks began working at the Board of Elections office as a bag carrier when he was 16 years old and became deputy director in 2021. Quavey and Brooks say they plan to continue working to make elections in Athens County secure and fair. Coming up, it's estimated that over 70 million people in the U.S. are living with digestive diseases.
And a new probe has made its landing on the moon.
We got a taste of spring earlier this week, and now we're back to winter weather. But will we get these warmer temperatures earlier in these coming days?
We've arrived to the season 15 finale of Hardwood Heroes.
Yeah, join us this Sunday night at 11 p.m. for the hour-long special where we will reveal all of our season award winners.
And we'll have a full recap of everything you need to know from the Waterford Girls State semifinal matchup.
Yeah, and don't forget to check us out on social media all week long over on our X, Instagram, and Facebook to get you ready for our finale.
And for everyone here at Hardwood Heroes, we're reminding you
to be heroic.
In some ways, Portsmouth was one of the last small cities to field a team and get a franchise. What was kind of extraordinary about Portsmouth was it was able to field an incredible team. For a brief moment in the sun, a little sweet spot that almost was sweet enough to get them a national championship, but they put together the team that ultimately did win the championship in 1935 in Detroit.
WOUB Public Media is partnering with organizations across the region to celebrate Women's History Month with screenings of the independent Lens documentary Free for All, the Public Library. The film tells the story of the pioneering women behind the free library movement, while also talking about the issues libraries are dealing with present day. Join us throughout the month of March.
Hi, I'm Amy Brenneman. My family and I are enthusiastic fans of public media. Public television and radio strengthen our democracy. They educate our children and empower us all to be lifelong learners. Each PBS and NPR station is a local nonprofit organization committed to the local community. Public media belongs to you and me. It's up to us to protect this essential national treasure. Information on how you can help is found at protectmypublicmedia.org.
A storm system that brought blinding snow, rain, damaging winds, and even tornadoes to wide swaths of the central and eastern U.S. this week has moved offshore. In its wake, at least 5 weather-related deaths.
And lingering powerful winds that bring a new threat to states already ravaged by drought and grappling with wildfires. Laura Aguirre reports.
Dry, gusty winds continue to roar across parts of the Gulf and Central regions today, putting over 3 million people under red flag warnings. The fire risk exacerbated by ongoing drought conditions there. The worst of the threat expected across western Texas, where fire crews have already battled a number of devastating wildfires in central and southeastern parts of the state this week. And potential fires are just one risk at the mercy of the winds.
The balloon was huge, like huge, humongous.
Humongous indeed. This surveillance blimp used by U.S. Customs and Border Protection was blown nearly 600 miles from its dock on South Padre Island to the town of Quinlan. It landed on a power pole, but not before clipping at least one house on the way down.
It's just a lot of missing pieces, like broken pieces.
Wind appeared to break a lot of things around the eastern half of the U.S. overnight as well. It caused some power lines to snap and pop near Kansas City and snapped a couple of trees there and elsewhere.
We heard a big, loud noise.
In a moment, this Wichita resident lost much of his roof and both of his cars. Parts of the central and Midwest are still digging out after blizzard conditions yesterday. Not an easy task given how savage the winds and whiteout conditions were just around 24 hours ago. As this system moves into the Atlantic, all eyes shift to the West Coast, where winter storm alerts and warnings are in place from eastern California into central Iowa. I'm Laura Aguirre reporting.
Yeah, definitely thinking for everybody's safety. Forecaster Emily Case is back with us. Now, Emily, we're seeing this system move across the country. Could it move into our area?
Well, right now, Ohio is actually in between these two systems, so we won't really be seeing any of its effects. But there is a very strong low pressure system off the East Coast as well as on the West Coast. And as they said, this is bringing very damaging winds and precipitation as well as a lot of just severe weather. But again, right now in Athens, not anything too major. We're sitting at around 38 degrees and clear skies with around 8-mile-per-hour winds, but we do see some gusts up to 18 miles per hour. It's making our real field temperature feel around 32 degrees, so definitely on the cooler side. Don't let it fool you. It is still very chilly. Speaking of winds, though, we don't have any wind advisories, but if you're walking outside, just be mindful of anything blowing around. Those gusty winds can still be impactful. Temperatures, though, over the past 24 hours, we did have a significant cold front move through the region last evening. So we were on the warmer side, and then we really rapidly declined in temperatures over the past 24 hours. And then we'll continue into tonight with 28 for that overnight low and partly cloudy skies. Those clouds continuing into tomorrow with a 30% chance of showers, but most of those showers occurring after 5 p.m. So it should be partly cloudy, and we might see the sun a little bit during the day, but if you have any plans for Friday night, it is going to be raining. 48 for that high as well. Now, some of this rain is going to be coming from this low pressure system out west. There's a warm front that is extending in front of that, so that's what is going to be bringing us some warmer temperatures throughout this weekend. And then tomorrow night, making its way further east. And then by Saturday, this is Saturday morning when this precipitation is going to be impacting our region. Athens probably getting mainly rain, but we might be seeing a mix of rain/snow, a chance of snow showers, but again, just depends on how cool that low temperature gets because there is that cold front extending behind that low pressure system. Now, looking just 7 days ahead, again, Friday, 30% chance of showers, mainly after 5 p.m. So it should be pretty sunny otherwise, 48 for that high. And then by Saturday, mostly sunny skies, 46 for that high. We see a warming trend throughout this coming week, as well as sunny skies. So we're going to be seeing another taste of spring, which is really amazing. By Sunday, mostly sunny skies and 55, and then Monday, sunny skies, no clouds in sight with that high of 62. By Tuesday, almost into the 70s. We're seeing a few more clouds appear. And then by Wednesday, partly sunny skies and a high of 71. So it's basically going to feel like summertime. So make sure you go outside and enjoy this weather because it's not going to be sticking around long. By Thursday, we are having a low pressure system move back into the region, giving us a 50% chance of showers and dropping in temperatures.
Thanks. The Athena robotic lander has touched down on the moon, marking the second lunar landing for a U.S. company this week. Although the lander is on the moon's surface, Houston-based Initiative Machines is still waiting for Athena to send back data before celebrating the endeavor. Athena joined a lunar lander developed by another Texas-based company, Firefly Aerospace, on the surface of the moon. Athena will search for confirmation that water ice is stored across the region. The lander is expected to operate for 10 days before it's cut off from sunlight and becomes inoperable. It's estimated up to 70 million people in the U.S. to be living with digestive diseases, but there are simple steps that you can take to support your digestive and help prevent diseases. Mandy Gaither explains how to improve your gut health.
It's a critical part of health. Having a healthy gut helps with digestion, metabolism, and immunity.
When gut health is good, our overall health is also generally good as well.
Gail Cresci with Cleveland Clinic says many factors affect the gut microbiome, but one of the biggest drivers, your diet.
What the gut microbiome prefers to eat are things that we, as the host, we can't digest. And so these are things like different dietary fibers.
That includes fresh fruits and veggies, whole grains, legumes or dried beans, nuts and seeds, and fermented foods like yogurt. All help gut health, but other foods can hurt it, including foods that are highly processed, are high in fat and sugar, and low in fiber. Cresci says to avoid those foods.
If we eat foods that the healthy bacteria don't like, it's going to shift in its composition to more of an unhealthy balance.
Cresci says having a healthy lifestyle also promotes gut health. That includes getting good, adequate sleep, managing stress levels, regular exercise, and making sure you stay hydrated.
All of these things together help support gut health.
For Health Minute, I'm Mandy Gaither.
Next in sports, Ohio hockey head coach Barry Schutte joins me on the show to talk about the Bobcats' upcoming ACHA National Championships. Get a full preview of the tournament when we come back.
In celebration of Ken Burns' film, The National Parks, America's Best Idea, we take a closer look at the story that inspired a new generation of visitors to these national treasures.
I think the national parks sort of perfectly represent that. We couldn't have done it without a country that was willing to consider new ideas.
Please join me, Peter Coyote, for Ken Burns, The National Parks.
Tonight at 10 on WOUB.
Buongiorno, I'm Rick Steves. Join me as we explore some of my favorite places in the heart of Italy. We'll retrace the steps of St. Francis in Assisi and bask in the dolce vita of Italy's vineyards, hill towns, and agriturismo hospitality. Whether you're planning your next trip or simply want a virtual visit, you won't want to miss this exciting tour through the heart of Italy.
Tuesday at 8 on WOUB.
If you don't drive it, donate it and support something you use every day.
I'm a queen. I don't fear anyone.
This is a woman people wanted to follow.
You are an important part of our work. You're stronger than you know. Saddle my horse immediately.
She's a female trailblazer.
We did it by acknowledging our own worth. Oh, please, do continue.
Good evening and welcome to Sports. I'm Josh Herner. Ohio hockey is headed to the ACHA National Championships starting on March 13th. Head coach Barry Schutte joins me in studio to preview it. Thank you for joining us, Coach Schutte.
Thanks for having me.
So you guys just wrapped up your first regular season, here at Ohio. How would you say the regular season went for you and the team?
Oh, it was definitely a success. We played probably the most difficult schedule that our program has had in a long time, and I think it's prepared us properly for this time of year. 16 of our 26 games were against top 10 teams nationally, and overall we faced plenty of adversity, and at the end of the day we tried to focus on the controllables and take care of our game first and look inward and do the best we can individually and collectively, and we're real happy with how things played out during the regular season.
Yeah, absolutely. With a big rest period, you just talked about the regular season, big rest period these past few weeks. What are some things you guys have been working on in practice to get ready for the tournament?
Yeah, well, it started with rest first and foremost. It's a long season, and you want to try and go into the tournament as fresh and healthy as possible. So last week we did plenty of that with a few days off and some lighter skates just to get some guys healthy and hopefully closer back to 100%. And this week we treated more like a training camp, knowing that we didn't have competition this weekend. So overall, they've been working hard. They've been battling. The nice thing about some extra time is working on unique situations. 6-on-5, 5-on-4, 4-on-4, all those things you don't see a whole lot during the course of a game or the course of the season. So we've been trying to spend some time on that.
Yeah, absolutely. And you guys just earned the 3 seed in the ACHA National Championships, which is a huge accomplishment for you and the team. What does it mean to you and the players to have such a successful regular season?
Yeah, it speaks to the group. We have a talented group, but ultimately they've been very competitive, and the top 8 teams get a bye out of the 2014 tournament. So being in the top 8 seed really matters. Being in the top 4 it definitely helps the matchups. You play the lower seed, you get that first day of rest. So I think it speaks to the quality of play that we had over the course of the season, and it does put you in a position of strength going into the tournament.
Yeah, and you've gotten a lot of contributions from your forwards, from your group of forwards, specifically those top 2 lines. How have they stepped up throughout the season?
Yeah, it's been huge. I mean, some of those guys have taken some huge strides during the season. We have freshman Nolan Abraham, who's really stepped up to be a number 2 line center and ultimately kind of round out our top 6. And we relied heavily on Reeve and Thompson and Aldridge in the past. And now I think that's what makes us a handful for most teams is our depth up front. We've got lots of people that can hurt you. We've received contributions from everyone. But it certainly helps when you have two #1 lines that we can throw out there against anybody.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm sure it was tough for you guys and the players to not host a home game until after the New Year's. What was it like to finally be back in Bird for the first time?
Yeah, it was special. I mean, obviously my first year here, and the players kept telling me all fall, just wait till you see a home game and see Bird packed, Coach, and it didn't disappoint. I think of our 12 home games, 8 of them were sold out, and the other 4 were really close. And it just, the only disappointing part was that it ended so soon. We feel like we just got started and playing at home, and then it was over just like that. But the support from the community on and off campus has been tremendous, and I think our players know that they're playing for more than themselves. They're playing for the entire Ohio hockey community, and they take that responsibility seriously.
Yeah, Coach Schutte, again, thank you so much for joining us. To stay up to date with all Ohio hockey updates, make sure to follow WOUB's Bobcat Showcase on X, Facebook, and YouTube.
Thanks.
Thanks, John. Still ahead. What did you want to be when you grew up, Haley? I bet you'll want to hear what these kids want to be when they grow up. WOUB went to South Elementary School and got to talk to some of the future minds of America.
Marie Antoinette, the landmark historical drama, chronicles the life of the last Queen of France, showing her rise to power, her controversial reign, and her eventual downfall. Join us for a behind-the-scenes look at this captivating series. We'll hear firsthand from the international cast and creators about what was involved with bringing Season 1 to life in Marie Antoinette, Beyond the Portrait.
Sunday at 8 on WOUB.
You're a mother-to-be, and I'm your midwife. The more you tell me, the more I can help you.
The Board of Health have declared war on Renata's house.
What are we going to do, sister?
We are going to fight back.
This is our place in the community.
We are going to do this together.
I'm in my 80s, so I haven't got time to waste. This series is all about the things that really matter to me. Family, fun, food, and friends. And some of those friends will be joining me.
Oh, dear.
And my long-suffering husband, John, is coming along for the ride. Welcome to my Cotswold kitchen.
Monday at 8 on WOUB.
I love Career Day. Yay for Career Day.
Those are just a few of the reactions we saw today. WOUB stopped by at Southview Elementary in Jackson County for their first ever Career Day today. Over 100 students, kindergarten through 5th grade, made their way through the gymnasium. From firefighters and barbers to farmers and flight attendants, students explored over 20 different career fields.
The Career Day is a part of their after-school program that over a fourth of the elementary is involved in. First grade teacher and program coordinator Lacey says it's important for students to be exposed to different opportunities.
They can do this kind of stuff. They can be a barber, they can do ultrasound, they can be a nurse, they can be a salesman. Like, this just shows them there's more out there than being a teacher and a nurse. Not that that's normally around here, that's what you know there is. So it's nice that they can see that there's other opportunities.
This Career Day is just one of the few activities students can experience in their program. In fact, it's so popular that she says they have a wait list.
Wow, how fun is that?
It seems
how fun
like
is
they have
that?
a really
No,
good
we
time.
got the chance to go out there, kind of as we mentioned,
Yeah.
to go out there, and it was really great to meet some of the kids. They were super excited, and it was super awesome to kind of get to talk to them and see what they want to do when they grow up.
Maybe we'll see if you here someday.
I know,
That'd
they
be
can come
awesome.
and take our seats. Please, come take our seats.
Please.
But hey, that does it for our broadcast this evening. Thank you so much for watching, and stay tuned for the PBS NewsHour. Have a good night.
We're on the precipice of a great discovery.